Exchange podcast. My name is Tebo. I am here with another podcast crew. First, we're going to start off with my friend Jesse over here.
Hey, what's going on?
He owns
The Manor House.
the Manor House. He owns the Manor House, but he also has a podcast called Through the Looking Glass.
Through the Looking Glass.
Through the Looking Glass. And these are his podcast members.
I'm Russell, one of the founder-starters of TTLG Through the Looking Glass podcast, here with my other founder here. And, let him introduce himself.
My name's Adam, also one of the founders of Through the Looking Glass podcast. How's it going?
Not much to say about ourselves, just we're starting this out and, trying to branch out.
Good virtue signal by saying I feed hungry people for a living.
And I identify as a hungry person. Trust me, I'm always hungry.
Hungry. My cousin and a lot of our crew members, we basically we do Meals on Wheels. Like for example, my friend on this podcast, Hoodrow, he actually did a Meals on Wheels for Thanksgiving, and they served a lot of Thanksgiving food, and they also gave out like 2 baskets of Thanksgiving food. So
That's
it was
dope.
pretty
That's awesome. Yeah, I just deliver pizza, but it sounds way better when I say I feed hungry people for a living.
That's pretty dope. Community work is definitely what everybody needs.
You guys keep on talking.
Oh, that OCD catching you again.
You guys can hear everything fine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just me.
sounds good.
There we go. Got it. Cool. So, we got the introductions out of the way. My bad on that, by the way, Russ.
It's all good.
I was a little bit rushed for some reason. So, what is the Mana House based around, and what do you do there?
The Manor House is a card shop, for layman terms. We play games there. I mean, Magic, Pokemon, D&D,
All the good stuff.
nerd culture.
Your culture?
Don't let him deceive you, too, though. He also sells video game stuff. He
Oh,
has manga,
Yeah,
videos.
a little bit of everything. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, I know all this. I'm just trying to have him,
Yeah.
let them know. While you guys
Yeah, you used to
talk,
be a regular
I
there.
am gonna see if this works now. Prepare your headphones, I guess.
Okay.
Mic test went.
Yeah, that turned you up.
That was nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I was sounding a little bit off, so I needed that. So, for the podcast that you guys run, what do you guys talk about usually when you are podcasting?
It's typically everything cultural. We haven't really dived too much into politics yet, but it's something I personally want to do
Yeah, we touch on it from here.
from
Here and there.
time to time. But I'm very staunchly into politics right now. Started about 5 years ago. Things just didn't seem right in our culture, in our country. We've talked about a couple of different things, like our spiritual beliefs, the different kind of spiritualities out there. One of our last episodes, we just talked about like the whole problem with Jeffrey Epstein, and the involvement in our own government with that.
We did a 90s nostalgia. That one was fun.
Yeah.
What are we at, 10 episodes out?
Yeah.
So we didn't record last week because I was sick. So
Yeah, and he's our video and audio guy. We're not
We
really
don't know
sure
what
how
we're
to. We don't know how to do that yet. But our podcast is just we choose one topic a week, and we dive into that topic. So like 90s nostalgia, we did Jeffrey Epstein. We've had a couple of
Mandela
guests.
effect.
Yep, we've had a couple of guests comes on. Our very first guest, Mike and Chris.
Mike and Chris, they run the Wicked Realm Film Festival here up in Horseheads every year, which is just a festival they started with just their own films, and then each year that kind of grew. Well, this was only their second year, but it's actually astounding how much it grew from the first year with just their own films to getting films submitted from all over the world to show this year. So that was pretty cool, and I hope next year they get even more films and it's even bigger, and hopefully I can get my shit together and have my film submitted in that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went to a night of it, and it was dope watching these small films. It was not like your backyard camcorder or anything. These were like production level films, and it was pretty wild. It was pretty cool to watch. The only problem they're going to run into now is that the L in Horseheads is shut down.
Finding a venue, yeah.
So they have to find a new venue. But I mean, I'm down to help them out too, because that was actually really fun with the local community. We've also had a local councilman member, Nick Grosso, come on, and that was pretty enlightening to actually hear how our local politics
Yeah, the
work,
inner
and-
workings of how local government works.
yeah, and how he's noticed a few things strange going on at the local level. But I mean, that's politics, right?
Yeah.
We're made to believe that it's this very smooth operating, everything up and up, and
Yeah, well-oiled machine. But
A smooth operator.
a well-oiled machine that's supposed to like pump gasoline, but instead it just throws it all over the building. They don't do anything correctly. Never have.
Never do. So apparently there was rumors about the memorial pool over there on
Right there on the
Branch
south
Park.
side.
Yeah, Branch Park. They're gonna quote unquote take it down.
They
How
have
long
to.
do you think that's gonna take?
They've been saying it for
30
a
years?
while.
30
They've
years?
definitely been saying it for a while. I've attended a council meeting. I've attended 2 council meetings, and it's something that's been discussed. They've talked about refurbishing it, but you can't.
It's too expensive.
it
yeah,
is kind of an eyesore.
The building is too old, and there's nothing they can do to like bring it back up to code, especially since code throughout the last 50 years has changed so much. Nothing about that pool would work, so they have to take it down.
They could turn it into a skate park.
I mean,
I
isn't
mean,
there
they
already a
just-
small skate park there? They could just kind of add to the skate park that's
Yeah,
there if they
yeah, I don't see why
knock that
not.
down.
Yeah, they definitely.
I mean,
could.
once they start the process and knocking it down, it should go pretty quickly. I mean, knocking stuff down is a little quicker than putting it up.
One of the larger concerns that the people that showed up to the council meeting was the local homeless population, and a lot of the concerns revolving around that actually brought up solutions for that. So instead of adding another skate park, like we have Eldridge Park already, and then there's a big one in Ithaca and stuff like that, where they were discussing possibly doing like small homes
Oh, the
or
tiny
some
homes.
kind of
The question there would be how comfortable would people be
With their
having that right
children at
next to a
Riverside
school? Yeah.
Elementary, it's really in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's like a block away.
Yep. So there's a lot of concerns, but this is kind of how politics works, right? It's delegation. It takes 5 years just to choose whether or not to put up a statue of something. You know?
Yeah.
So this is just how it works. It's a slow moving machine. So
But mainly because they're lazy. They
yeah.
could get done things quick.
Yeah, but typically when political change happens rapidly, a lot of unsavory things come with it.
Oh, no, I'm talking about like, oh, the next meeting's going to be in 3 weeks when they're not doing anything else.
Yeah, true. Paperwork and bureaucracy.
Yeah, could get
Yeah.
done in an hour.
But then they'd have nothing to do for like 90% of the year. Then they wouldn't make any money. They'd have to find a regular job.
Speaking of Elmira, and you know how everybody knows everybody. You know how you know my cousin at Domino's, Rashid.
Yeah.
He's family with my cousin Kurt here too. Obviously, you should know that because he's my cousin. But it's
Cousin's
a very
cousin.
small world. Cousin.
Yeah.
So, I have one big family here. Do you have a? How big is your family? Actually, speaking of that.
Mine personally,
Yeah, your personally.
on my father's side, my grandmother had 11 kids. And I still don't know all of my family.
I don't
so-
either.
And
My
most
grandma
of
had like 7 or 8.
most of the cousins that I know of have 3 kids of their own. So, I mean, if we were to have a family reunion like we did back in the day when my grandma was around, I don't know. If I can conservatively remember, when my grandmother was alive and we had a family reunion, there was at least 50 people. So, you know, everybody. Like, I probably got cousins around this town that I work around every single day, and I have no idea who they are.
My family's not even big enough to have a family reunion. I got one grandma, one aunt, maybe 6 cousins. They have
Man.
1 or 2 kids.
Yeah.
Mom and dad, sister. That's it.
If you don't hurry up, Jesse, your family name's about to be gone. I mean, you laugh about it, but it's true, right?
I got 20 years.
Yeah. Men do last longer.
Into their 80s.
Oh my God.
It's a fact, you know.
So speaking of the family reunions, what happened after your grandmother passed away for the reunions to stop? Was it because your grandmother was alive that the reunions happened, or because I noticed one thing with my family too is that all the people that were supposed to have the torch carried to them from like my aunts and uncles, my great aunts and uncles. So that'll be my grandmother's brothers and sisters. They used to host cookouts and stuff like that. Ours don't do that. So like people around my age, like in their 20s, like my cousins and stuff like that, they didn't carry the torch at all for that because even their parents did the cookouts and stuff too. But I wanted to keep a tradition where we constantly have cookouts and stuff like that at the places that we usually do because we still live in those places that we've been living in since we were kids. But people are just too busy, I guess, and are not able to do it. But when I think about it too, our parents and stuff like that were busy and they still are able to host a cookout. So what's the difference?
Economy is worse nowadays. You have to have 2 jobs just to make ends meet.
Responsibility as well. Everyone's got to step up and actually do something to have the cookout. You know, making food, cleaning up's a part of it.
A lot of people don't like to plan.
Setting out invites, planning the whole thing. People's schedules too. Like that's one thing with my family. I found out as we got older, like me and my brothers, our schedules are like all different. Like the one time a month for sure I know I get to see my brothers is the UFC pay-per-views. That's why I take off once a month on Saturdays so I can at least see my brothers on top of watching the fights with them. And it's like once you lose one family member, that's when you realize like, yeah, I really want to cherish the time I have with my other family members because we lost our father in 2020. So it's like any chance I get to actually, you know, link up with my brothers, I'm going to take that.
Yeah, family is family, and I've been trying to get a few people because I will see my cousins every now and then, and we'll be cool, we talk and stuff like that. But when we're on the internet and stuff like that, they never want to respond, nothing. So it's like there's like a
Yeah, it's a lot harder to
distance.
ignore people when you're talking to them face to face.
Yeah, it's really a lot harder. But they also put up this persona as if we always talk, but we don't. You know.
Right. That's one thing I've definitely noticed is with the implementation of the internet. Just think about social media. We believe we're getting true social interactions, and we're not. Just think about your average amount of time on social media. Me, I might be a little bit higher up there as to like how much time I spend on social media, but I would say at minimum I spend, if you put all of the time together, probably 10 hours a week. So that
sounds
10
about right,
hours,
yeah. 2 hours
that's-
a day for me, maybe.
yeah, but that's a lot of time. Like if you really took that 10 hours, got rid of all social medias, and you spent 10 hours picking up your phone and calling your cousin and talking about how their day was, life was completely different in the 90s. Like us growing up in the millennial area, we would have to pick up the phone, call our family members, and see how they're doing. Now you just write happy birthday, LOL, and then don't talk to them the rest of the day.
And I heard back then too, if people don't pick up, you just walk to their house.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You drive over there. It definitely felt like, it's not that we had more free time back in the day, but it's that we spent more time doing individual tasks. And now you're just doing so much in a day that it feels like you're getting nothing done because you're so stressed out about doing everything.
I think a lot of it was there's no online gaming. There was no online gaming back
Yep.
in the late 90s, or it was very rudimentary.
Yeah.
And people went to each other's houses and
to do stuff,
played
yeah.
Mario Kart and
So strange how now
GoldenEye.
it's kind of rude to just show up to somebody's house and knock on their door.
Yeah.
Compared to like in the 90s, like that's one way you found out if they were home or if they wanted to hang out or if they wanted to come outside and play. You got to show up to somebody's house, knock on their door. Or you got to call their home phone and deal with their parents picking up and hassling you before they give them the phone.
Yep. Life was so different just 20 years ago, man. It's wild how quickly it
Yeah,
changes.
I think in
20
another-
years ago was not that long ago.
I think in
not.
another 20 years, it's going to be even a
Wilder.
bigger difference than it was from now to the last 20 years because technology is so
AI.
rapidly advancing.
We're gonna be living in pods eating bugs.
We're going to be
Probably.
living in the metaverse, basically. You're going to put on a helmet and you're going to be able to go see your friend's virtual character rather than them actually right in front of you.
Speaking of that, they're already starting on that, and guess who's starting on it? Apple. Have you heard about the thing they teased when they put out the announcement for the new iPhone? They teased the Apple Teleport.
Mm.
But
What's that? I've never heard of that.
so what you just said about them meeting face to face, stuff like that over online, like that. But the difference is you could smell the area around you and you get the full scenery, like a 3D scenery. Like I could turn around just on my own and see everything like I'm
How
actually there.
I'm cool with the smelling thing. If somebody could like send
Yeah.
me a picture of the weed they just bought, so
Yeah.
I could like smell it through the phone,
But
that would be
But-
great.
but here's the
how
thing, though,
would
Apple-
you-
So what Apple Teleport does, I think, honestly, so someone can own the Apple Teleport machine, but it's very, very expensive. It's like in the millions, by the way. So only rich people are going to have this shit. And
No, of
I'm
course,
for
the rest of
now.
us peasants can't afford it.
I'm assuming there's going to be an app that somebody can have on their phone or something, or on their computer or something, to be able to have the person teleport to where they're at to be able to receive. Because you're obviously going to have a sender and a receiver. The Apple Teleport is going to be the sender. Someone's going to have to receive the Apple Teleport and be able to communicate with the person that's in that teleport. And it's an actual huge
Right.
machine you walk into, and it scans your whole body and everything, and then it will send you to where you want to go. And the only way you can go there is if somebody's able to receive that send. So
I can already see it now. Is there's gonna be like some 12-year-old hacker that hacks into Jeff Bezos's machine and just puts him in piles of shit all day. He's just gonna be smelling baby vomit and shit and farts for hours. I guarantee it's gonna happen. But if you want to think more about AI, it's already been a couple of months. But Lex Friedman's podcast, I don't remember what it's called, but Lex Friedman's pretty popular. He
I
interviewed
think that's what it's
Mark.
called.
He-
Something
The
like
Lex Friedman podcast,
Yeah.
probably. He interviewed Mark Zuckerberg, but they did it in the metaverse and they use AI generated like avatars. And the shit is clean, bro. Like a lot of people aren't aware of how advanced this is, and people have been saying it's exponentially getting faster. At the rate we're going, probably in 20 years, AI is going to be at such a point that our imaginations can't even think of. If you really think about the 1940s when rocket technology started taking off, people never in a million years, well, of course in a million years, but people back in the 30s and 40s when rocket technology first started, they would have never thought, oh, we're going to send people in this to the moon, right?
yeah.
And that was just 30 years later. It's kind of crazy. We can't even really fathom what's going to happen in 30 years if human beings are even a thing in 30
So I
years.
believe the gentleman's name is Steve Kurzweiler. He's been predicting where technology is going to go since the 70s, and it was somewhere around I think the year 2048.
Is that the exponential scale?
That curve goes straight up, which means like every year technology is going to double, and I believe that's going to happen once AI actually starts creating technology of its own. It'll be technology we can't comprehend.
It's so it's a double exponential, I think, is what it is. So it was on a scale of like every 5 years. So 5 years, then 3 years, 2 years, and like it just doubles in its in its skyrocketing effect, and the time frame just keeps shortening. So at 1 year it's at like 100, but then at 6 months it's at 200, then at 3 months it's at 400. It's just gonna fly off. It's just gonna go crazy.
I can't wait.
Speaking of
Terrified.
AIs and stuff like that, where do you think that's going to take the gaming in the future? So I'm honestly thinking about
Have you seen some of the videos of like Unreal Engine 5? Bro, you
Yeah.
can't even tell. Like when the video was released of that car on fire, people thought it was real. People thought it was a real car on fire because it looks like a real car
I
on
think
fire.
it'll be similar. You've seen the movie Gamer?
yeah.
I think it'll be like that.
VR
where
headset.
I was going to say
Yeah.
something like that, but I was going to
But
use
do-
the Matrix. Have you
but
seen the
they'll
Matrix?
probably just use the Apple
Where-
Teleport thing for gaming.
You know what I really want to see as well for it to happen? Not regular VR headgear, the type of VR headgear where you just lay down and actually play in the game. Just by
Matrix.
So the
connecting
way
to
I
your
was thinking of
minds.
it was like the Matrix, where Neo is in that scene where
Or
he's
Sword Art
fighting,
Online, the nerve
where
gear.
he's fighting Morpheus for the training. Like I like playing the UFC video games, UFC 4, UFC 5. If I can actually be inside of that octagon throwing my own punches and kicks, I think that would be pretty dope. That would be a fun game to play.
But you get to
that's
feel
the
it back
problem,
as
though,
well.
with that type of headset. It would have to be connected to your nervous system in your brain to be able to work properly.
Yeah, that's the kind of
because-
scary part of it.
Because the way we move, talk, and
Mm-hmm.
do stuff is off of our brain, off of the nerves that we send through our body to be able to
Mm-hmm.
do those things. So it would have to work for the video game as well. And I don't really trust people when it comes to messing with another person's brain.
Like
because-
Neuralink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Elon
Neuralink
Musk is working into
What
that.
Neuralink is currently being used for, I'm all for it, but future applications and it possibly being weaponized is what makes it kind of scary.
Yeah.
One of the I know one of the applications for like AI, for artificial intelligence, this is one of the reasons why they're pushing it so hard, is as much as human beings know and how smart we are with our knowledge, we don't have much understanding of the human brain. It's very hard to map and understand which neurons are firing to do what. So this is one of the reasons why they want AI to be so much better, is they want AI's help to connect how the brain works. Once AI starts mapping the brain and
Oh,
how
yeah.
everything works, then Neuralink is going to take off. Like right now, Neuralink is in development by humans to help people stand again or feel limbs that they've never been able to, cure paralysis. But once AI gets good enough to where it can actually map out the whole brain, it then will be able to like take over our imagination and consciousness. So that's one of the reasons why they're using AI. There's a video on YouTube right now where they used AI to use sound frequencies to map the neuron firing in the brain, and it's created a 3D map of the brain. They don't know why those neurons are firing or what they do, but they just know that they can see them firing through the brain, and then they mapped it out. And now once they connect the dots as to, okay, this one does this one does that, this one does this, they're going to have full control. Full control. It's going to be kind of a scary world.
I wonder if they'll be able to like control people remotely.
Probably. Why wouldn't
I think they already can.
What do you think the military's hanging around for? You think they don't want super soldiers that can't feel pain? Like, they're just going to turn off all the pain nerve endings and send them in. Who knows? Who knows?
There's already patents out there for being able to control the mind with radio frequencies or electromagnetic frequencies. If I can, I may have saved the video. If I can, I'll try to send it to you guys in a message. There's already a lot of ways they can control the mind without AI. So once they can figure out how to use AI to control our minds, I feel like it's truly game over. Advertising is a small form of mind control, convincing people that they need products that they don't really need. It's controlling our minds to go buy the newest product.
And half of these products that they be advertising aren't even good for you.
No.
Yep.
Never.
It's based
And-
off of your personal algorithm.
They're not even built well anymore. Planned obsolescence, where they only create things to last a certain amount of time, so then you have to go get the newest model. You buy a refrigerator now, in 10 years, you're probably going to need another one. If you got a refrigerator from 1950, that thing's still going to be kicking in 10 years. Those things I feel like are indestructible.
Yeah, and people have them out in their garages
Yep.
where it's in wintertime and they
Yeah.
work fine 60 years later,
Yep.
70 years later.
I believe that's one of the gripes I do have with capitalism is planned obsolescence. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's no reason that a phone that I'm paying $800 to $1,200 for should only last 2-3 years. It should be lasting me a decade if I'm paying that much for it. It's crazy. But then they won't be able to
So
make
it
as
is.
much profit by you going out and buying the newest model. So,
Yeah. I mean, just think of all the memes that we have about Apple itself. You know, Apple phones. They release a new one every year. It's like,
Oh, when the one dude like goes and buys one, there's already a new one out.
yeah. You've got these bougie city fucking slickers, and then they just they're sipping their frappuccinos at Starbucks. Then they're like, "Oh, I got the new iPhone 14." Somebody walks in, they're like, "I have the iPhone 16 SX series," and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go get it." And he literally just bought
So,
the 14.
Didn't
I-
Apple get caught slowing down their older models
Mhm.
too? So people would have to go get the
Apple-
newer ones.
Apple
all
is
phones,
not even,
all
like,
phones do it
crazy.
with their updates. All phones slow down. their
Apple phones are literally not even. Actually, speaking of that, Apple's actually facing a lawsuit right now because of them intentionally slowing down the phones with the updates.
all phones do it. All
Not as
companies,
much as Apple though, because
Oh, for sure.
I've used the same phone for
Because Apple wants
6,
you to keep
7
on buying
years
a
until
newer,
it literally
newer phone all
breaks.
the time, so they can keep
Yeah.
on making money. Apple's
Mhm.
always been notorious for everything's break easily, always forcing you to get an upgrade because if you don't get an upgrade, you can't. do
Correct
shit
me
with
if
the
I'm
phone.
wrong. Aren't like the best components of an Apple phone made by Samsung?
Yeah.
probably.
I could have swore I read that not too long ago that like certain components of the camera and other internal mechanisms in
Do
the
you-
motherboard are made by Samsung.
You guys remember this was a big thing. I remember seeing this controversy on the internet for a while when Apple took away the aux port. But
Yo.
then you can buy an upgraded model like
Yeah,
3
yep.
models later. They had an upgraded model where you could get the aux port and they called it something different. It's like, bro, you took the aux port away so that you could sell these one specific earbuds for your phone, and then you made it so that you can get an aux port additionally for like an extra $100 model.
What is it? A thing that
What?
plugs into the charger port that's got an aux port in it, or
I don't. It's just like an additional. Like you just remember, like 5-6 years ago, every phone had an aux port, and there was no such thing as like Bluetooth
So-
headphones.
If I want to use wired headphones, I have to plug it into my charger port on my iPhone to use it.
Jeez. Oh, that's wild.
I kind of like Bluetooth headphones because I can't stand having
Yeah.
cords and wires going all over the place. So I mean, I don't really need the aux port on.
I don't
my
mind.
phone
I've always
anymore.
been a wired guy. Wireless controllers can't do them. I'd rather trip over the cords.
Yeah, for sure. I can't stand having like batteries die or anything.
To be
Crazy
honest,
thing is,
wired
though,
cords are more durable from what I remember because I remember having wired and wireless, and my wired ones would last longer than the
Mhm.
wireless
sure.
for some odd reason because I'd be dropping the wireless one, it breaks easily, depending on how many times I dropped it.
Yeah, you chuck
And
that
then-
controller when you're mad at the game at the
Yeah.
wall, and it's fine.
But the wired
Like
one,
Like the
banging it.
original Xbox controllers, those things
Uh-huh.
lasted for 20 years.
yo,
It's AI and
no,
everything
you
is
can go. I'm
just
so sorry.
wild.
Go ahead. Speaking of technology and games and stuff like that, what do you think about the Game Awards? How'd you like the Game Awards?
I didn't watch it, but I personally know that Baldur's Gate.
Yeah,
They
the
swept every
last-
category or something.
They swept the
Yeah.
Game
Did they?
Awards.
I mean, it makes sense. Nothing else really compares. Starfield had no chance. It's a buggy mess. Spider-Man 2
Plus
should have
it's
got
Todd
something.
Howard.
Like
Screw
I see
Todd
more
Howard.
Spider-Man 2 clips than
So,
anything, and
The
people
reason
are having
why
so much
Spider-Man
fun.
2 didn't get anything is because it literally came out so late. It came out last month. It came out a month before the awards.
That
it came
is
out in November.
true.
It
That is
ha- it-
true.
It had no time to get DLC or nothing for it to do anything. That's why I am happy about one thing. You guys won't know about this. Jesse will probably know. But you know Genshin Impact, right? They didn't win an award either.
Well,
but-
why would they? It came out 4 years ago.
That's true. But the game that they made after that, which is called Honkai Star Rail,
Oh,
that
the
I tried to
Hon-
get
yeah,
you
the
into,
Honkai, yeah,
they
I don't
won the
like it.
best mobile game of the year, and I play that joint. Oh, I'm such a nerd.
I mean, it
So
makes
how-
sense. There's not a lot of good mobile games, and this one is visually stunning. It's just the
Yeah,
game
it's-
How
plays-
recent were
meh.
the Game Awards? When were they? Just
Oh,
like
well,
a week
a
ago?
week ago.
Okay.
No, not
Very
even a week ago.
big
It was,
fi-
it was,
4
like,
days
it was like a
ago?
few days ago. Yeah.
Okay. So I know that a month or two ago there were smaller game awards, and Baldur's Gate took 7 out of 10 categories, which was insane. And I know that they were voted for like another 10 categories in this year's
Man, I-
awards.
I gotta play it.
Bro, I'm telling you, like, I do play a lot of video games, but I don't like keep up with things like that. When I tell you I have not completed a game, I have not completed a storyline in a game in probably 15 years. I have beat Baldur's Gate 4 times. The game is so good. The story is immaculate. There are some parts in the game that are a little weird, but bro, this game.
Did they
is-
fix all the characters wanting to have sex with you at all times?
No. I mean,
annoying.
it's still kind of, it becomes an
Fan
option.
servicey.
Yeah.
Can you turn it off?
There are well, you can definitely turn everybody down, but there is a part in the game where a specific character talks to you and then asks you who you're interested in, and then the game pushes that interaction more. Or you can simply say none of them, of course. But yeah, I remember at launch there was a thing where even if you told people no, they would still, but that has to do with how much a character likes you with your decision making. But from my understanding right now with Baldur's Gate, there's like 70 different endings, right? You can do so many. Every single choice in the game you make affects the ending outcome.
Yeah,
And there's,
like
and
Fable back in the day.
There is still a part in the game, 2 hours worth of content that has not been discovered yet.
And Baldur's Gate with the sex system and stuff like that. Baldur's Gate 3. There's a lot of mommies in that game, so there's a lot of simping when it comes to the game. Like for example, remember that one magic card I pulled from the
Karlak is my wife.
Karlak. Remember her card was just like a regular $2 to $3 price, but ever since the game came
Oh,
out,
when it was like $7,
she
$8.
skyrocketed in price to like
That is funny.
$12
Karlak-
to $13.
Yeah.
Karlak's personality she is the most fun character. She's honestly the most fun person. It's wild how alive these characters are. But Astarion, the bad boy of the game, he has made a lot of women realize how bad they got like issues with bad boys. Because this man is a straight up murderer, and these girls are just like, oh my God, I love him. You're not going to fix him. He's a 200-year-old vampire. You ain't fixing that, bro.
So I got a curious question because I don't play a lot of games. When did video games start making you pay for extra additional things within the game?
That's when the
free-to-play
companies
system.
It was Oblivion with the horse armor DLC. That was the first time.
really. And
What year was that in?
2005 or 6?
So I got a
Oh,
question.
shit.
Somewhere around there.
Did it sell a lot? And if it sold a lot, isn't that the reason
It
why
blew
they
up,
started?
and that's why they did that model. That's why they
But
followed
it's
that model.
also due to after that too. It's also due with greed as well. It's a lot of greed.
Yeah, they
It's a
figured
lot
out
of-
they could do that. They're like, oh, this is a market that we haven't been doing ever.
A lot of
And-
developers found out. I know there was a couple of different statistics, but there was one model that stood out above everything else. There was a paid content in a game. It was like just a skin, right? It was a very simplified skin in like Fortnite or something. The sales of this one skin that took like a month to
It
develop,
was a GDP of an entire country.
right, was the GDP of a country.
Ooh,
It outsold
Jesus.
complete other game titles. And because we as consumers decide to keep feeding into this model, that's why it continues. If people just stop, so the model that a lot of companies will use will be like free to play. The game is free to play. We develop it, you play it for free, but these microtransactions, a lot of people end up paying more than the ticket price of the game. So typically right now games are like $65 to $70. You'll spend $150, $170
And
Yeah.
in game content that's not
At
real.
first, it
It's
was
wild.
subscription, like RuneScape back in the day. It was free to play. You could go to like a quarter of the map, and then once you paid the $5.99 a month,
Same thing
then
with
you got
WoW.
everything.
Same thing with
Yeah,
WoW.
yeah,
You could
and
play
WoW,
like
yeah.
12 hours and then you had to
Oh, you got
had
to level
pay.
20, and
Yeah. I mean, that was a healthy model, but it still didn't make the kind of income that
No.
like just in-game content. Like, what's the newest one that just happened? It was like Modern Warfare 3. They introduced Nicki Minaj,
oh yeah,
and it broke like $2 million.
yeah, the gotcha system where you can open a virtual chest and you
Yeah.
have a chance of getting something like what was the first one
Some
that did that?
games, a lot of games I've been noticing recently because
They need a gambling warnings on games.
yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
I
they
am
do.
I am
'Cause
100% for gambling.
Gotcha is like
Yeah.
gambling because
It's teaching 12-year-olds how to gamble.
you
Yeah.
can play the game for free and build up the currency to do so, but you're behind a whole bunch of other players in the process, especially if there's a thing called PvP in that game.
Oh, it's pay to win.
And
Absolutely.
it's pay to win 100%. But if there's no PvP, you can take it as long as you want, as slow as you want. But it's still, at the end of the day, content gets harder and harder throughout the game. So if you don't have good characters, you're going to lose 100% of
Good
the time.
characters or good gears, you want to be at the top of the map, and especially at the rate that they push these games out, you have maybe a year right? Especially with Modern Warfare or the Call of Duty games. You got maybe a year to be at the top of a leaderboard, and you have to pay to be at the top. It's
So-
kind of crazy.
So for
Well,
Call
then
of
the
Du-
next
well-
game comes
well,
out, it
Well,
doesn't
no,
matter.
Call of Duty, you don't have to necessarily spend money. You could still be good at the game because a lot of the
But it's
attacking-
for
You
the
just
clout.
have to grind 16
It's for the
hours a day.
clout because
Yeah.
you want the gold minigun. You want the one special knife that's pearlescent, or
Yeah.
you want to
Look
be
cool.
one of those characters.
Yeah, but
you want to be
doesn't
recognized.
change the gameplay though, just because you have a skin on it.
There we go.
But the skin does give you attachments. The skin does give you attachments that you would have to unlock manually if you're too lazy to unlock it. But it doesn't make the gun stronger because there's other attachments that make it better. You see what I'm saying? But I still get it though. But a lot of people want that cool skin, that expensive skin, so they can flex on other people when they kill them. Ha, I killed you because I have this and that. But that's not really the case.
Yeah.
That's how people be acting of them. Oh, I got this and that, so I'm better than you. It doesn't make you
Well,
better.
sometimes different skins do give you an advantage because of the hitbox.
That is true too.
Just like female and male characters in games.
That's on Apex. Apex has some gun skins where the reticles, you don't even have to attach a sight to it because that's how good the reticles are. But for Call of Duty, for games like Call of Duty, you could just unlock the attachment. That's it. You just unlock the attachment. That's it.
There's just a lot of. I don't understand the online gaming clout thing. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of get it, but it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I think it's wild, and more power to them. But I think it's kind of wild that people have been able to make viable careers off streaming themselves playing video games.
It
I
is
never,
fun to
I
watch.
never thought I'd see the day where people spend their time watching other people play video games. And I'm not hating on it. I just, in my mind, it's kind of like wow, that's pretty wild that's become a career option for some people that are very good at video games.
Yeah, the gaming content back then used to be walkthroughs. People would look up a video or watch somebody to learn how to play or how to get through a video game. Now you just watch them.
Or a little bit later, it would be Let's Play contents, which was interesting. But then, streamers.
Yeah, to see how good a game is
yeah.
going to be. Yeah.
But I would say just think of it like football or UFC. Like, sure, you don't have to put yourself in physical danger, but in order to get good at like PvP games, you do have to learn a lot about the game. It's not just moving the mouse and clicking. You have to know the maps. You have to know where all the spawn spots are. You have to know how the map moves. Like if it's a battle royale system, you have to know typically how far the gas comes in,
There's a
how
lot of hidden
dangerous it
mechanics
is.
too.
You have to know where everybody tends to land, what's the best guns, your hitbox, their hitbox, how to, like, it is a lot of data analysis, and you have to do it for literally 10 hours a day to be the best. Like, Shroud, he's one of the best gamers
Sure,
in the
you
world.
probably also have to have somewhat of a decent personality that people like to be a streamer
Absolutely.
too. Either that or you got to just have giant tits. It's probably one of the two,
Yeah, one of the two or both.
So that's one of the problems with streaming when it comes to Twitch specifically, because I don't know what's wrong with the CEOs of Twitch, but I was just on Twitch the other day streaming myself, okay? And hear me out. There was this chick on Twitch streaming to at least like 40-something K people, and
Was it the topless woman?
the topless woman. But her boob, like her
Yeah.
her
It was
breasts
cut off
weren't-
like right here,
Yeah.
but she was completely
Why, you
topless.
seen that too?
Yeah. It's one of the most controversial things on the internet right now. It's porn.
And then they'll
it's
get
porn.
banned for 3 days while.
Or they won't. But if you say
yeah,
that
if
you
they,
voted.
if they do.
Yeah, that's perfectly allowable on Twitch. But if you say you voted for Donald Trump, life ban. That's ridiculous.
Wait,
you
they'll really
allow
ban you for life over a political view?
Yeah.
if you're
Whoa.
if your political view is on the right. Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Getting back to the games of Game Awards, there was 3 announcements. They're coming out with a Blade game, like
Ooh.
a
Like
Blade game,
Marvel's
the
Blade?
Vampire Slayer. Yeah, Marvel's
That makes
Blade.
sense. They're coming out with the new movies. So.
If it doesn't play like Batman Arkham Asylum, it's gonna be trash.
They literally teased it of him getting like his beard shaved off a little bit, and then it just transitions to like zombies on the outside. No, not zombies. So vampires on the outside attacking people. And he's like, "Oh, time to suit up," and he basically went out. Then there was another reveal, a new Dragon Ball Z game.
I've seen that.
It was the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 one. It's called Sparking something, but they didn't call it Tenkaichi 4 because I don't know why they didn't do that. It would have just made it more hype if this is Tenkaichi 4. It's coming out next year. Then 2025, we are getting GTA 6, and we're getting a
that's the
new
big one right
Monster
now.
Hunter game.
GTA 6
Never gotten to
looks
Monster
sick.
Hunter.
GTA 6 looks sick.
Okay,
I'll try it.
Jesse. Last night yesterday night on stream, I dropped on the floor crying when I saw that Monster Hunter trailer. Reason why I say that is because Monster Hunter restricts you. It's not like open world. You have like these certain levels you have to go into, have gear and stuff
It's kind of
like
like
that. and fight
Final
monsters.
Fantasy.
I was gonna
But
say it's
specific
similar to like
paths.
Crisis
But-
Core.
Yeah.
With this new Monster Hunter they're releasing, it is open,
Completely open world. I
Completely
might give that
open
one a
world.
try.
I started crying.
I might
and
play that.
Yo,
I never really got into Monster Hunter either. But to get back on Baldur's Gate real quick, they announced that they were going to announce their Xbox release at the what day? Do you guys know?
It's not on Xbox yet.
Not yet. They said they were going to announce the launch day for Xbox
Interesting.
Yeah, they did say
at the
that.
awards. Either
did
of you
say that.
guys?
I'm
I'm gonna look it up real quick because
I mean, I'm PC anyway, so
same.
I've been hyping the game up.
If
to
they
a-
put it on
to a
Xbox,
buddy
you know
for
what
a
they're also
while.
going to put it on, right?
Hmm?
Game Pass. They most likely might put it on Game Pass to get more people to play it.
They might.
That'd
they
be
might.
the best advertisement.
maybe
for
after a
them.
month.
But there's no because there's no in-game purchases. You can't purchase anything.
But Game Pass, a lot of the games that they have in Game Pass don't have any in-game purchases either, though.
Maybe.
Like for example, I can give you Lies of P. That's another good game. It's like a Souls-based game. You have Grounded. It's like a survival / sandbox. You don't have to. They don't have any purchases on there. What was it? Remnant 2.
Mhm.
A lot of the games I've been playing on Game Pass don't have in-game purchases. They don't have microtransactions. So, have you ever
Swallowed
used
some key grounds.
Have you ever used Game Pass at all, Russ?
I have before, but
It's such a variety. Like for example, Hi-Fi Rush.
it's weird because I don't own an Xbox, right?
You don't
I
play
do.
games very much though, too, though, huh?
I do,
why.
but I stick to like specific games. I'm like a RPG or tactical sims. The problem I have with Game Pass is that the Game Pass is different for the Xbox and the PC Xbox bar. So certain games that are on the Game Pass for Xbox are not on Game Pass for
Only
PC.
if you have the regular Game Pass. They have Ultimate, which is $5 more, which is $15.
Yeah, it's a
where
scam.
you get everything.
No thanks. I'll just play games on Steam. You know,
Yeah.
my Steam library. I have like 90 games in my Steam library.
Damn, I'm jealous.
I mean, I've had it since like 2005.
Yeah, whenever it
so,
came out. Yeah.
I don't know. I just like, well, for me, it's beneficial because I stream my games. So having all those games I could be able to play off of Game Pass is content for me.
Yeah, for some people it makes sense. Yeah, especially if you make a career out of it.
Oh,
Because buying all the games,
What
that's gonna
happened?
be thousands.
so they hit everybody with a surprise. They said they were going to announce the launch date for Xbox at the awards, and at the awards they said it is now available on Xbox.
It's not on Game Pass right now, though, from what I hear.
$69.99. Haha, losers! That's $10 more than what I paid.
Ha! That's hilarious.
But it's worth. I mean, the game's only been out for 2 months now. I've probably put 400 hours into it. I beat the game 4 times.
Man,
It's so good, man.
you made me want to save up money and just get an Xbox so I could play it.
Well, what do you have?
I have a PC. It's right in the other
Baldur's
room.
Gate's on PC.
You sure?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
well, I might
You-
take my paycheck I get today and probably.
You buy it through Steam, and then it has its own individual launcher, right? So you
Ooh.
buy it through Steam, double click the game, brings up
That's
its
a
own
lot of
launcher.
streaming content.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's mod friendly too. The modding is very, very simple,
Ooh.
and it's so good. They have options, of course, where you can like blur out nudity and stuff like that.
I see why it's the best game of the year because they have so
It's so
much, and
good.
they love. Basically, you're saying they love their community. They 100% listen to their community concerns and everything like that.
They're
They even
the
allow you
opposite-
to mod their game. Like
They're the
what?
opposite of Todd Howard.
Ooh, shit. I'm definitely gonna have to get into that game because I played Baldur's Gate
good.
1 and 2. That's it. That's it. I haven't played the third.
3 is fantastic. Maybe watch a couple of guides, decide what kind of character you want to build, but it's all good.
Yeah,
It's
'cause I
all
played
fun.
the demo, but that was, what, 2-3 years ago?
It's just fantastic.
Shoot. I have to look into it.
Now we gotta get this guy into gaming, so he'll actually be like,
Won't happen.
Get addicted to it.
dive into AI and be
Dude,
like, all right,
won't
maybe
happen.
I'll plug in.
So I do this thing myself where I see a really good game and I'm like, I don't want to play that. I'm not going to play that. You want to know why I say that? It's because the moment I play it, I'm not dropping it. So, for example, like games like Ni no Kuni 2, I've been playing that, have not dropped it. It's an RPG game, love it. Final Fantasy games, I'm like, oh, I don't want to play that. It's going to be bad. And the reason why I say it's going to be bad is because
They draw you in.
it draws me in. Because the storylines are great, the gameplay is immaculate, the graphics are insane. You just sit there and think like, damn, I really bought and I'm playing this game right now because for how much I spent for it, for what I'm getting out of it is great. Now, there's some games out there that are not like that. For example, it took years for Cyberpunk 2077, that's what it is, to catch up to date,
To be playable.
And
They already ruined the reputation.
2077 did not live up to the hype that it had. But like, there are certain games like I do like PvP games, but I am terrible. I do not have the time to put in to be good at a PvP. But one of the games that I absolutely love is Escape from Tarkov. This game is one of the most realistic shooters out there. But what I'll do is I'll watch other people play it. Like, I can't play it and be good at it. It actually causes me a lot of anxiety because the game is terrifying sometimes. It's so realistic. Everything goes by like sound. The smallest sound that you hear, you're just like, ah, oh shit, ah.
The creeper
But-
effect.
Yeah, but I'll watch other streamers play it and it's fantastic.
You're like my friend Eli. He plays Smash Bros. Like I do, and he's terrible at the game. But he watches all the tournaments, knows who the best player in the world is, watches Japan tournaments, everything. He watches all of it, but he's just terrible at the game. So my
lives
other friends be like,
vicariously through other people.
yeah, my other friends be like, you know everything about the game, but you're so terrible at it. You don't have to be good at a game to know everything about the game. You don't play it often to be able to get good at it. And if you do, you're just not learning something that everybody else is learning.
Sometimes you just don't got the time for it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, so for the game that I watch, Escape from Tarkov,
Yeah.
the most famous streamer and player in the game, his name is Pestily. He's been playing the game since beta. He literally knows everything about the game. He knows where every loot spot is in every map. He streams this game for like 10, 11 hours a day, like nonstop. He is so good, and it's the only game that he plays when they wipe the game. So they do like a couple months, typically like 6 or 7 months, and then they'll wipe the server so you start afresh. He'll have 4 different accounts, playing on 4 different accounts throughout that wipe. This guy is so good. He knows every corner, where the best peak spots are. But the reason why he's so popular is because he spent that time investing into the game and knowing where everything is.
And now he's giving out content to people for them to have that type of
And
info.
it's really good. It's really good content.
He
So
himself
good.
is literally like a guidebook. You know how back in the day when video games. were
Oh,
like a
he
thing?
does guides. He
There-
does
there'd be,
Let's
like,
Play
these
guides.
Big
Yeah, yeah.
guidebooks that tell you everything about the game and where's what and what's
He's a
this.
virtual guide.
Yeah.
He actually has a series called the Raid series where he will show you how to do every single mission. He's like, all right, now we got to go here. We got to go get this mission. We need to collect so many of these items, so many of these items. We have to go talk to this guy. We got to kill this guy on this map. Like, he in and out knows everything. Plus, he is so famous from the game and playing it, he has direct contact with the head developer of the game. Like, if there's a bug or something, he'll text him. Simple as that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Have you played Marauders? It's a game similar to that.
I still
The
wanna
like
try that.
spaceship one, or the like the airship
Yep.
one. No, I've heard
really
about
wanna
it and
try
seen
that
about
one.
it. That's going to be a pretty good game after a couple more years of development.
Yeah, it was okay. We had a big group
But-
playing, but
Another thing, like I'm just not good at PvP, and I do like to win sometimes.
yeah,
so
we would have like a group of 5, and then there'd be a group of 2, and they'd wipe us.
yeah,
So
that's
we just kind of got
that's
Annoyed.
a loot loss system, right?
What is
Yeah,
PvP?
player versus player.
Ah, okay.
But that's one of the things. The skill gap between people is so immense. If you're not good or willing to put in the time to get good at a PvP game, there's really no point in picking the game up because the competition out there is crazy. Like he just said, like you could have a squad of 5 people that are just picking up the game, and one person will just clean you out. And it's frustrating and disappointing and kind of
Yeah.
heartbreaking because it's like,
Yeah, it's not only
This
the
is
skill
ruining
gap.
the
They've
game.
been playing longer, and they had fully geared best weapons.
yeah, it's
Sea of
insane.
Thieves is a perfect example of that too. I got in Sea of Thieves with my friends, and some of the people on there are very sweaty. And
Yes.
Did you play Sea of Thieves?
Yeah, I love Sea of Thieves. I did love it. I played it for probably 2 years straight.
I just
The
sailing
combat
through the
system is very very
intricate.
interesting, and if you know how the combat works, you'll completely clean
The
people
only
out.
thing that tired me out and made me want to fall asleep to the game is the constant sailing through the sea. That was the only thing. But once
But
you
it's
get on an
beautiful.
island, yeah.
It's beautiful. Visually, that game is so beautiful.
But once you get on an island to go look for loot and stuff, that's when you wake right back up. Oh, now I gotta wake up and then get in. It's just sitting in the waters, sailing. It gets a little bit boring at times, but it's still a fun game. I won't.
What was that
push
game we played where we would sail around, and it would take like a half hour to hit another island?
Yo.
Atlas.
Atlas, yeah, that was
Yo.
fun.
But there were still things to do in the water then. But with Sea of Thieves, I mean, they're constantly doing updates. How long has it been since you played Sea of Thieves?
Not in a while, but I could play it anytime because I got Game Pass.
Yeah.
so.
So in the last couple of years, I think the game launched in like 2018. In just the last
I played it
2
last
or
year.
3 years, they've implemented a lot of stuff, so there's more happening in the world. It's not just you sailing to an island, picking up a chest,
Yeah.
fighting a
Um,
couple of skeletons. Now there's
skeleton
so
ships.
many world things going
There's
on.
skeleton ships that literally arise from under the water
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
try to attack you. There's
So good.
there's this one mission or slash thing you could do where you become like the hunter basically, and basically what that is like your ship basically gets indicated as a red.
Oh yeah, you're a reaper.
Yeah, Reaper. There you go. Thank you. You're a Reaper.
Yeah,
and
you're looking for
it's-
PvP.
it's so scary because you see people on the map as the Reaper ship. I'm like, oh, I gotta get away from that ship. I can't
Yeah.
be around here anymore. It's scary.
Yeah.
So
Game is beautiful though.
yeah, it is.
Sea of Thieves is an interesting one. Definitely, it's gonna keep being developed, and who knows? Maybe a couple years from now, it might be a game worth going back to and relearning it. But yeah,
You know one
I
game
mean,
that keeps
Adam's
on
just
ongoing?
been like sitting here
No,
quiet
I'm
because we're
so
just on
sorry.
games.
I'm listening.
One-
I don't play a lot of games.
Yeah.
So
One
I
thing
got
that-
one video game and
One
that's
thing
it.
that's
What do you
not
play?
gonna
Oh, the
stop
UFC?
anytime.
UFC 4.
One game that's not gonna stop
used to
anytime
love the
soon, and
UFC
it's
games.
free to play is Fortnite, dude. Did you hear what they did recently?
Ugh. They,
No, don't
I
say
know they
ugh.
like.
I downloaded it because of the updates,
I know.
and I don't like.
I heard
Fortnite.
that they rebalanced a bunch of stuff in
No.
the game.
That's not what
they
it
added
is.
new game modes.
They added entirely new game modes that are separate from the battle royale section. They have a Lego Fortnite mode where it's like a sandbox / survival. There's no
It's
guns.
Minecraft.
It's literally like Minecraft.
And then
See,
they're
I never
doing
got into
since-
Minecraft.
Now they're
either.
doing Mario, like a Mario Kart thing.
Yep, they have a Mario Kart thing, and they also have a Guitar Hero thing.
Yeah,
It sounds like a game that was on its last legs and want to stay relevant.
OG season brought everybody back, but then they said, we got so many people back, let's keep them staying here.
and let's
And
get
it-
new people in
and-
that don't want to play the
That don't
actual
want to play the
Fortnite
battle
game.
royale. They just
'Cause
want
I
to
didn't
play
care about it,
survival
and I
Lego
redownloaded
Fortnite.
So-
it.
And this just released like 4 to 5 days ago,
Mhm.
and for the 4 to 5 days, they've been consistent with 2 to 3 million players on Lego Fortnite alone. So
It sounds like Fortnite is becoming not a game, but more of
Like a
a
hub.
multiverse.
Yeah,
yeah,
Like if you want to play different games in this verse, it's going to be in the Fortnite verse.
yep,
Having some artists actually had concerts in like the Fortnite
yeah.
metaverse.
I think so. Fortnite is a lot of dances have come out of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Isn't that where flossing came from?
No.
No.
Flosser came from the backpack kid. He was like a teenager that was flossing, and it got so
That
popular.
YouTube kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember
Yeah,
seeing
he
that.
got
A
so
lot of
popular,
the
they put his dances
dances
in
are
the game.
put into
Into
Fortnite.
From somebody
Yeah.
that made that dance. Yeah.
Fortnite just helped popularize them even more.
Yeah.
Family Guy's in Fortnite finally.
Didn't they take away the building combat though?
No,
It's separate.
it's separate. They literally have two separate
There's-
game modes.
yeah,
for that.
not-
So
Non-building
now
and
there's
building.
a regular PvP mode.
Yep.
We
And
got
then
the
one
strat
with
Royale,
building.
And now there's
And
the
some-
building got so crazy. I think that's
yeah.
probably why they did a separate game mode because people are so good at building it.
and
it's
everybody was
nuts.
complaining, yeah, and a lot of people left because of it. So they bring in zero builds to get people that don't want to play builds. Like I don't play builds; I play zero builds
Yeah,
myself.
I
you got
wouldn't
people
play
that can
builds
build
either.
a tower in 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, and you got to think about it
Unreal.
too.
I think it's because they probably have.
They
like-
do have macros where
Yeah,
they
they have
click a couple
macros
buttons
set.
in it. Yeah, but some people do it all manually.
That's
You got to think
insane.
about it too. Things that don't require, like games like Battle Royale games like Call of Duty and Apex, stuff like that don't require you to build because there's no builds. You have to strategize your positions, where to be, and know what guns and stuff work better than others in certain situations. And that's what makes you a better player because you have to have better aim. You can't just build and block bullets. You have to actually take manual cover. And there's a diversity in the Fortnite community right now where someone's saying builds is better than no builds because
The people saying builds is better are probably the ones who
They're
have
always
been
building.
playing Fortnite since day one.
yeah,
And the no builds are like people are like, there's no good BR right now. I've never played Fortnite. Let's go try Fortnite since there's a no build mode.
and think about this too. The people that sit there and love builds and been playing builds for years are the same as like people I beat in a zero build fight because their aim is dookie water. All they do is build. They can't aim. They just build. That's it.
They just
and edit.
build and wait for you to expose yourself.
Yep.
But at the same time, the only people playing build modes are other builders. So it's
Yeah.
like a pro builder versus a pro builder. And the only thing you're going to get out of that is better builders.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those things that actually chokes itself out though, because if you have 100% of a community that's pro, you're never going to get somebody entry level that wants to come in because what are you going to do? Start giving out classes? Like
They
5 people
do-
in the pro community are going to be like, we're going to protect you in this
So-
game that's a 1v all?
For the new people that come in, they're like low level and stuff like that, starting out. And it happens for a long time until they get like a certain level. And it's like a count level. It's not like battle pass level. It's a count level. They added bots into the game.
Yeah.
So
Of
it makes it
course.
easier for people that are just starting out to actually be able to adjust to the game and get better by killing these bots. So
Does Fortnite do a ranking system?
yes,
So,
that's
like-
only in ranked mode. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that things like Apex and stuff like that, they started doing ranked systems. So like,
Apex is so bad right now.
right, but like a 5-star player would only play against other 5-star and 4
No.
stars. You would
They
never have like
They
a
no,
beginner playing
they-
against a pro.
they fucked that up
Did they?
badly. Not only did they get up, they also added cross progression. So if you are a low account level on a new system you never played before, like for me, for example, I'm on PC. I didn't play PC very much. I always played on console. I'm getting teamed up as a beginner against level 5 to 600s on Apex with over 80 to 90,000 kills. I'm like, I don't ever play this game on PC at all. And when I come back on PC, I'm still getting matched up against sweats. And not only that, there's people that are smurfing. So Apex added this
Smurfing?
thing. Smurfing is when
A
they
really
make
good player starts a new account so they can destroy the noobs.
Okay.
Yep. And base,
Yo, you got problems. That person has problems. You are pathetic.
with Apex, they listen to the pro players. They don't listen to the rest of the community. Everything that's adjusted in Apex is based off of the pro players. Hence why the pro players can now kill noobs anytime they want because they put everybody in the different skill gaps together into one matches now.
Kind of
It's really
sounds like
bad.
they're just building a toxic community.
Yeah.
but
Apex
most
community is
PvP
very
games
toxic.
are just toxic.
It
communities.
is very, very toxic. And people keep on complaining. They don't do anything. Not only that, Apex be putting out these surveys, like tell us how we're doing, how the game and stuff like that. People will give them the surveys that they want to happen / what they don't want to happen that are like regular people, they ignore all those. But all the pro player surveys, they keep track of those and change the game based off of their surveys. I think it's horrendous bullshit, and I don't even understand why somebody play the game. But also the reason why people still play the game is because they already spent so much damn money on the game that they can't just drop it, or they're going to feel like, damn, I spent money to not play a game. So
It's tough.
yeah.
Video games is a lifestyle for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, with us, with gamers, you know, it's just another. It's an escape, you know, from the stress of life of everyday stuff.
I use games as to help me feel happy.
Everybody
because-
does, you know. There's people who smoke. There's people who drink. There's people who go out and party. There's gamers. Sometimes they intertwine. Sometimes they don't. You know, people like to watch football or basketball or UFC.
You can have a party and
you
have a
know?
video game. Like you can have a party at a friend's house, have drinks and stuff, and play Mario Kart. It just all depends on what everybody's cool with. Like
We did
not
that
everybody.
recently.
Not
That's
everybody's
fun.
gonna.
If I could get
Oh.
my hands on an original Mario Kart, you'd catch me playing that a couple hours a
Yeah,
day for
yeah.
sure.
Do you ever,
got
have,
one.
you ever,
Sure.
have you ever played the Wii Mario Kart?
No, the last
Mario Kart
one,
Wii's
the last
It's
Mario
good.
Kart I played was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
For the Wii U.
I'm not. I think it was the Switch he had it on.
Oh, Switch is pretty good.
Yeah,
Switch is
yeah.
pretty
I
good.
just,
But
I just thought the
Wii
game
Mario
was
Kart
dope.
is iconic.
Jesse,
and really fun.
do you remember the good old days of like Halo 2 with LAN parties? Oh, that was
Yeah, we did
All right,
that
guys,
probably
it's
5 or 6
Friday.
years back at my buddy's. We had 2 people upstairs, 2 people downstairs, and
I remember when,
Sounds like what we did in the Marine Corps one year. All right, because I worked in communications, so we were able to take 2 switches from the computer shop, and we actually put them up in the ceiling in the barracks. Now, when you go up in the ceiling in the barracks, you can just look all the way down. And since we had a bunch of Cat 5 cable at the shop too, we had one for Xbox people, one for PlayStation people, and we ran Cat 5 cable to like everybody's room on the communication floor, so we had our own local area network to play. It was always depressing for me to play because I always had the least amount of kills with the most amount of times getting killed, but I at least had fun doing it. So
worst KD.
yeah, I suck at first person shooters.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's one of those games where you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who's naturally good at PvP games, like first person shooters, because a lot of it does come down to map knowledge. It really does. If you know the map, you know where the weapons are. It doesn't matter if you're one of the best players and you have a pistol. If I got a rocket launcher, I'm probably going to win that fight, you know?
Example, Call of Duty, some of their maps are so small, people will PvP on these maps, and they would use sniper rifles. And
One-shotters.
they know the spawn locations of the entire map, so that the moment you spawn, dead. Spawn, dead. Spawn, dead. You can't move.
That sounds like
Plus,
it'd be
it
frustrating.
It is frustrating because really pro players do that shit. And you don't even have to be pro. You just have to know how to hit your shots and know the spawn locations, and you're done.
I just
Win.
recently watched a video on YouTube of a guy playing airsoft, and he was set up at the other team's respawn point. So like anytime somebody would walk back, respawn, he would just snipe them. It's
Yeah.
like, damn, that's got to be frustrating.
One of the big things with video games though, and like PvP, there are people out there who get paid to find the exploits of the game. So like no scoping and stuff like that, like you just said with Modern Warfare and things.
Yeah.
There are players who get paid to find the exploits that every player then uses. So for an example, if you have a sniper rifle that's a one-shot kill no matter what,
Yeah.
but the reload animation or something is really long, these people get paid to figure out how to pull the gun, no scope, shoot, kill, switch weapons, switch back, guns already reloaded,
Yeah.
ready to shoot again. Basically turning a bolt-action sniper rifle into a fully automatic one-shot rifle.
Yeah.
So there are people out here that find these tricks. Just like, I think it was, who was it? It was very famous. I think it was Shroud was one of the first people that discovered it in one of the Call of Duty games where they started doing the power slides, where they introduced, there was like
It was
a
Black
power
Ops.
slide system,
It was
then
Black
you could
Ops.
double jump and then quickly
Black Ops.
parachute and then slide again. You were moving twice the speed around the map.
Yeah.
but it's an
People-
exploit.
It looks funny.
Yeah, but it's an exploit.
Wait,
And
wait.
everybody started doing it.
Wait, was that Blackout?
It was Black Ops or something. But
No, it was Black Ops Blackout, because before Battle Royale was introduced, Warzone, they had a mode called Blackout.
this was definitely a battle royale mode. But it was
Yeah,
one
it
of
was
those things
Blackout.
where you could like people were
Blackout.
quickly parachuting around the map, unparachuting, sliding, jumping, parachuting,
Blackout.
sliding, jumping, parachuting.
Because Black Ops introduced a mode called Blackout, and that's what got everybody into Battle Royale, and that's when Warzone 1 was released
Oh,
afterwards.
Battle Royale's been out for a lot. I don't know what
This
you
was
mean by
this was a long time ago. I think this was Black Ops 3 or 4, one of the two. And
that. Battle Royale style games have been out. The first game to actually get accredited for a Battle Royale style.
H1Z1.
H1,
Yeah,
remember we played?
Yeah, we played
Yeah.
that. For
I know
a
my
while.
stuff.
But they
I know
didn't
myself.
capitalize on it, where PUBG was like, all right, that's ours.
Mhm.
And then I think
PUBG is still pretty famous,
honestly,
but they're very toxic.
so Call of Duty, Activision, didn't release a whole Battle Royale mode yet at this time. It was just Black Ops, and they had like a separate mode in that Black Ops game. It was called Black Ops Blackout, and it was like a mini Battle Royale. And I think that was just to test the waters and see if people liked it. People loved it, and that's when Warzone 1 came out. Yep.
Well, you can just see from the market demand, Battle Royales got famous, and then every game started doing it. So,
Yep.
hey, if everybody stops paying for this pay-to-win content and all these microtransactions and gambling addiction, they'll stop doing it.
Yeah.
But that's expecting too much of human beings, I guess.
There's one more thing I wanted to say about a video game, but I honestly forgot. It's gonna pop up in my head as we continue talking.
GTA 6.
No.
Yeah, that game looks fantastic. I actually just found out, too, from the trailer. In the trailer that they have, where all these people are doing, like, insane things.
Oh, they took it from.
They
news
took it from
clips.
live footage
Yeah.
from Florida. So
So
that's
funny.
pretty.
Of course,
pretty
it's Florida.
hysterical. Florida man, yeah.
Dude grabbing an alligator out of his pool.
Yep. The woman with the
Twerking
hammers
on the
twerking on the
car.
yeah. It's all from Florida.
Something about Florida, man. That heat down there just makes people lose their damn minds.
I think
Plus,
it's swamp gas.
Could
most
be,
everything
could
wants
be.
to kill you down there, bro. Like,
It's not quite as bad as Australia. I feel like everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Especially in Africa too. Africa, a lot of things want to kill you.
I recently just watched a thing about crocodiles in Africa. Crocodiles are way different than alligators down in
Yeah.
Florida. Like
Crocodiles
these
are
things
not-
will actively hunt you down.
Yeah.
I mean, some won't hippos though, but hippos are
Hippos
technically
won't
the most
exactly-
dangerous animals on the planet.
They won't exactly like hunt you down the way like the crocodile will. They'll
they
just
will chase you.
they'll chase you,
They'll
but they
chase
won't
for a while.
they
yeah.
won't actually hunt you down like these crocodiles will. Like these crocodiles will actually hunt you down to eat
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. They're bigger.
Yeah.
They're more ferocious. Everything.
I
Scary.
mean, so won't tigers and everything. But like hippos, they account for more human deaths
What
than
was
than
it? 300 or
crocodiles.
400 a year?
Yeah,
Yeah, hippos
more
have
than
a
sharks.
hippos are very short-tempered, and if you get in
And
their territory,
territorial,
yep,
yeah.
and if you get into their territory, that
Yeah.
that quick
they're
temper flares.
There's
They're
been a
fast.
lot of hippo content on like the YouTube shorts that pop up
Yeah.
every other 9 or 10 is something about a hippo, and I'm like,
Do you
learning
ever
a lot about hippos recently.
do you ever
And
run
Joe
into
Rogan
the
with grizzly bears. Like, what's up with that?
Joe Rogan? He loves grizzly bears
loves
because he realized how big they actually are and how
Mm-hmm.
strong. Just like he always brings up the thing with who would win in a fight, a grizzly bear or a gorilla. A grizzly bear, you psycho! A grizzly bear would win.
Yeah,
End of
they're-
story.
Gorillas are more passive too. Honestly, they're not as aggressive as people make them
I
seem.
mean,
they're
they're
very
sh-
passive.
they're
Gorillas might
strong.
gorillas
They might
might
be-
be stronger, but
but
when you look at it,
A
each
gorilla
one of those
up
things
to-
fighting in the wild, the gorilla doesn't actually fight much like a grizzly bear would.
No.
Now, what happens when you add like a tiger or a lion to that mix? Then who wins?
Our black bears are
Probably
actually less
still a
aggressive
grizzly.
than
yeah,
grizzlies.
60-40 maybe.
I mean, maybe
I watched a whole thing on Lex Friedman's
Oh,
podcast about this.
maybe a tiger. Maybe a tiger because it's strictly predatory. So
That
it's
is true.
used to
Because what
hunting.
kind of damage
Are
could
you-
a bear
Yeah.
do?
So
Their-
here's
their-
the
I don't
question:
think
Are
their
you
bites as
are you
strong.
in the open
Oh no!
or are
bears-
you in an octagon with them
Wait,
fighting?
what animal are we talking about?
a bear versus a tiger or a
A
lion?
bear versus a tiger.
I think
Probably
lion.
a tiger.
I think a
So
might
lion
be,
versus
yeah.
bear, are you in the
Actually,
open or are you in an octagon?
You want to
Because
know?
that depends on
you
who's
wanna
going to win
know-
the fight.
You want to know one cat that could actually take a bear? A leopard from Africa. Leopards be taking down crocodiles in their own waters.
Yeah, but leopards aren't as strong as lions.
Yeah, the size
Yeah.
difference is
Really?
too much.
Yeah, it
So
is.
the only
size
way a
difference.
grizzly bear would actually beat a lion is if they were locked in a cage together and it came down to an endurance fight, because the grizzly bear has a lot more endurance than a lion. If it was out in the wild, the lion I
Could
think
run around.
could run around, it's
Yeah.
quicker and would be able to I think
Plus,
get to its neck.
I think what you're thinking about the leopard, its typical tactic is it will go from behind a creature and then it go for the neck. The problem is the bear has opposable arms and it can.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that
true.
its
It will
neck's
just
so
grab
thick, I
and-
don't think a
Yeah,
leopard
but
could.
leopards be hunting things that the other cats in Africa won't hunt.
Yeah,
It-
because it's
very interesting.
probably because the other cats were hunting all the food, and then the leopard was like, "All right, if I want to survive,
The only
I
thing
have
we
to
got
go
left is
for-"
crocodile.
Yeah,
have to go
leopards
for
will
the
jump
things that
right
the
in
other
the
cats won't.
water to get
Yeah,
crocodiles.
yeah,
So
it's-
I've
it's
seen
kinda
videos
crazy
of that. It's
that-
pretty interesting to watch.
I think if it was a tiger versus a bear, I think that would be a good toss-up because bears, like grizzly bears, they're omnivores.
It depends-
right?
it
They don't
depends-
typically hunt.
yeah.
They'll do whatever
Now,
is most convenient
one
for them.
bear a tiger would definitely lose against is a polar bear.
Probably.
Polar bears are completely carnivorous.
Yeah, it probably.
Polar bears are vicious.
Yeah, but
If a
I
polar
mean,
bear sees
tigers
you,
go for the neck,
It's on sight.
and
They're gonna
polar
chase
bears
you.
have a long neck.
I would want to see a liger though. They're like 3 times the size of a
I heard
tiger,
they're not very
tiger or a lion.
aggressive as
No,
like.
I
they're-
don't know, but
They're kind of stupid.
yeah, if you
They're
smack one,
really
though-
kind of just like.
And they're so big. They're so big they might be lazy.
Yeah,
All that
yeah,
extra
they're
weight.
really huge.
Man, this is jumping
Yeah, look
around.
up the episode on
that's-
it's
that's
Lex
what we usually do
Friedman
here.
who. Oh, why can't I think of the guy's name?
But did they go through?
It's
like,
Gordon
the
Gordon
science
Ryan's
of it?
jujitsu coach is who it was. I can't think of his name at the moment. But yeah, they go through this whole thing of who would win between a lion, a bear, and a gorilla. And even though the gorilla might be the strongest, it doesn't exactly have the experience of fighting to beat the other two.
Yeah, it's the same with a lot of people like who would win. This professional MMA or this bodybuilder that's
Professional
3 times
MMA
the
guy,
size.
every
He's
time.
gonna get him
Every time.
99 out of 100.
Yeah, I think Demetrius Johnson would beat Bradley Martin. And Demetrius Johnson fights at 125, 135 pounds, and Bradley Martin's 260. And I think he still beats
Now-
Bradley Martin.
Gorillas are smart like monkeys, right? If I remember correctly, are they also smart like monkeys are? Like
They're relatively smart.
mean, yeah, they're all
not
about
as
the same
smart as
thing.
like orangutans. Probably same level as chimpanzee.
This is this is brain. This is not actually a fact, but it also could happen. So let's talk gorilla versus a tiger, versus a tiger again, or a grizzly bear, right? You already said how a gorilla would lose. Let's say we're talking a gorilla that was taught how to fight and is bloodlusted. Would it beat that bear?
Oh, like
then?
I had an MMA coach.
No, not MMA coach. Just learns how to.
I mean,
like,
if
Spent
you
his
taught
whole
a
life
gorilla-
training how to fight. I think
Yeah.
maybe he beat.
If
Oh,
you
man,
taught
might
a
beat any
gorilla
animal on the-
MMA, yeah,
no,
he would
It's
beat
not,
everybody.
It's not even MMA. Just to know how to like use its power to be able to
That'd be
hit
funny.
things and stuff like that properly. And because it's way much more stronger than we are, you think it could take a bear unlike us?
I don't know, man. Yeah,
No,
I'm
with its
gonna
hands.
say yeah. Like if that
Bloodlusted,
if
knowing
that-
how to fight.
if that gorilla its whole
It'd
life
probably
learned
just rip the
jujitsu,
bear's arms off.
if it was able to get on the bear's back and get it
get it into
in
a
a
chokehold, it's
chokehold, a
over.
rear naked choke, if it was trained
Maybe.
to do such, I think so.
Or it would just take.
It would
its
still
arm
be
and-
very,
Ah, man.
very difficult. Like if you, I have seen photos of some of the damage that bear claws can do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but what if the gorilla bear
No,
punches her in
So-
the face?
Okay, it's not. A
So let's
kangaroo.
do right. So a gorilla.
What if the
has its
gorilla
arms
jumped
up,
right out of the
right?
tree onto the bear's back and immediately into a rear naked choke?
But
Game
there's
over for the
problem.
bear.
The bear can still reach back, and it's got those claws.
Yeah, but the thing is, the gorilla is so strong. I don't think it would take more than 3 seconds tops
Right,
for that
yeah,
bear to
that's
pass
true.
out. No
Think-
blood
think
to the
ab-
brain.
Think
It'd
about it like
probably
this.
just pop its head
This is
right
not
off.
relevant because it's not
Probably.
real. But think about it like this: King Kong, for example, he's a gorilla. He's like a huge ass gorilla, and he's taking down dinosaurs because he was.
Because of plot armor. Because of plot armor, my guy. Plot armor.
Because he's so
that,
strong.
that was old.
But
King
he
Kong,
was
but-
also
but
like
during that time, he
one
was-
and a half time the size of the T-Rex. So
That too, but he also knew how to survive because that's all he learned was how to survive and fight for himself. A lot of gorillas don't have that because they're not always fighting.
yeah,
That's what
they're
I'm
very
saying.
passive.
Yeah. King Kong wasn't passive.
They're more likely to just run up and start pounding on their chest to scare you away from
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
territory
it's
than they are
mostly
to attack.
intimidation. They very rarely get into fights, but when they do get into fights, it lasts like 10 seconds. You know, it's not long, but they are known to like really hurt each other. But
Orangutans are the mean motherfucking monkeys.
yeah, but they're
mean.
also the smartest.
They are the
Orangutan are incredibly smart. dangerously smart.
Maybe that's why they're so mean. They've got no tolerance for stupidity.
Yeah.
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 But it's kind of weird that the most intelligent creatures on this planet also tend to be the most irritable and kind of sadistic.
Yeah,
So
like
like orca
dolphins.
whales
Oh,
and
yeah.
dolphins, they're very sadistic and cruel to other
Orca
animals.
whales
Mhm.
are
Orcas are
so
terrifying.
mean. They literally play with their
Incredibly
food
smart,
like a
though.
toy before they eat it.
Mhm. Yeah.
They literally use
Sometimes
their,
they won't even eat it; they just like to play.
Yeah.
But
They
dolphins
just
are
like
the same
chucking
way.
seals 100 feet into the air for no reason.
And now, look at humans. We're the same way. We're incredibly intelligent for
I don't
our
throw my
place on the
food in.
planet.
I don't throw my food 100 feet into the air. I'm gonna eat that shit.
I'm sorry, you've never taken a French fry in.
Yeah, but then I eat it.
Okay.
I don't just throw it in the air for no reason. Like sometimes the orcas won't even eat the seal. They'll just launch it up in the air just to do it.
Just to be assholes.
Sadistic.
You've never had a food fight?
Actually, no. I
Really?
don't waste my food.
That's actually really good. Now, another thing about orcas, they're so smart. That's why humans don't really mess with orcas like that, because they will remember it forever and they will tell other orcas like, hey, this human did this, so
Yeah,
we're gonna take
they'll
it
hunt
on
you down.
other humans.
Have
Yeah,
you heard
yeah.
that orcas have now learned how to disable motors on ships? Like they're coming up
I've
and
seen
like,
that.
oh, that's terrifying. I would not want to be stranded on a boat that doesn't go anywhere with a bunch of orcas
Yeah,
surrounding
they've been
me.
ripping the engines out of
Scary.
yachts.
But the reason why they're doing that is because someone, I know what you're talking about. It's relevant to this. Someone was doing something in the waters that pissed off one of the orcas, and now all the other orcas, whenever they see a boat, they're gonna mess with it because now they're being told by a different orca, like, hey, this
They
human,
teach that.
I wonder
they
if it had
teach that
anything
the
to do
next
with
generation.
underwater sonar, like that noise coming through the water. If the
Probably.
orcas heard it and it pissed them off, and they're like, you know
That
what, we got to
was,
put an end to that shit.
That was one thing. There was mass beachings right around the time where this GTA 6 leak came out and the Billie Eilish thing. There was like 500 whales, different species found around the world that have beached themselves, still alive, roughly about 100 to 200 miles away from that those water windmills.
They're not beaching themselves; they're just trying to evolve. They're gonna start walking on land.
No, I'm
Oh
pretty
my
sure
God.
we're making them go mad.
That would be terrifying if orcas started walking on land.
Well, hasn't that been a
We'd
thing
be done.
forever, even before
What, beachings?
finding beached whales?
Yeah, but no, these are mass beachings, like
Oh.
entire pods on a beach.
Hmm.
But that's after they turned on these solar wind farms, where they built the giant wind turbines into the water, and there's these giant farms. They,
Mm.
I talked about this on one of the episodes
Yeah.
where they were doing the sonar tests underwater, and they found out that it's just like a reverberating sound, literally for hours. Imagine listening to that.
That would be.
You'd go crazy.
Yeah.
So these whales are probably going crazy. Like, I can't do this anymore. Get me out of the water.
Yeah, I'm wondering how common animal suicide is, because I know there's birds that will do it,
Squirrels and everything. Yeah.
and then there's this one specific bridge
Wait,
that
how
dogs
does
like to
how do
jump off.
squirrels commit suicide?
They run out in front of your car and just stand there.
Is that really suicide, or are they just confused that there's something big coming at them and they don't know what to do? It's like frozen in fear, like, oh my god.
That's what deers do, so maybe, I don't know.
Well, how many times? So I think this is a squirrel giving it a second chance. How many times has a squirrel ran out in front of your car, stopped, and then instead of keep going, then turned around? I
They
think
got
that's
little- they got
that's
little
a
pea
squirrel like,
brains.
I'm done with this. Wait, never mind. I got nuts at home.
No, squirrels are just like ADD. If you ever watch them, they're like, oh my god, what am I doing? Oh, look, a nut. Let me get the nut. Oh my god, where'd I put my last nut? Oh my god, they're just all over the place. So it's like they see your car coming when they're in the middle of the road. They start freaking out. They're like, oh my god, which way did I come from? Which way should I go? Oh my god. So they're just all over the place, and then they get hit.
But you can
Yeah,
train
they are
squirrels
very
pretty well.
twitchy.
Yeah. Like
Twitchy.
you want a good visual representation of ADHD, just watch a squirrel.
Well, I mean, they're food for other animals. Wouldn't you? Like, I'd be if everything literally wanted to kill me.
They do make cool friends, though. I made friends with one in 2016 by just
Yeah, they're good
slowly
pets.
leaving out peanuts for it, and then I'd sit out there with the peanut jar and kind of toss him some peanuts. Kept getting closer and closer. Finally, it got to the point where like he'd come right up in my lap and start pulling peanuts out of the jar and let me scratch his head, and then I got some things happened and I had to move out of there, and I really missed my squirrel friend.
I think humans missed an opportunity by not domesticating squirrels. I think squirrels would be a fantastic
I,
pet.
I think we should have tried better to domesticate bears. I see some of these Russian guys on
there
YouTube
are-
with some pet
well,
bears, and I'm like,
actually,
that looks awesome.
The
The
one bear
easiest-
that was in the
Imagine
army back in
feeding them,
the
though.
40s or 50s.
One
or
of the
something.
easiest bears to domesticate that we take care of all the time, because if we didn't, they would
Black
die out,
bear.
are pandas.
Oh, because there's
Bro, they
They're
just
so-
they want to die. Let
They
them
want
die.
to die, but we do not let them die. Another bear that we actually domesticate very well because they're not as aggressive as the grizzly is the black bears.
Yeah, black bears are pretty well trained. They're the ones that are usually used in circuses
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, every once in a while, they do still like freak out and kill people.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Uh,
still are wild animals.
Yeah.
One of the other another species of animal that absolutely wants to die is the koala. Like,
Yeah.
just let that creature go, bro.
What about
When the
sloths?
next flood happens, that creature's gone for sure.
They're the animal that tries to eat pictures of food.
Yeah.
Wait,
Plus, they will eat their own poop.
Yeah,
right?
they had a picture of like you. Can put
And-
this
I mean,
thing
I've met
on a
dog-
plate
I've
and
met
they're
dogs that-
trying to
that do
eat
that.
it, and it's
The
just a
only
piece
thing
of
that
paper.
they eat is literally poison to them.
Yeah.
So
Same with pandas. Bamboo's poison, but they still eat it.
Well,
bamboo's poison?
I don't think
Yeah.
it's poisonous, but there's no nutritional value.
There's no nutritional
very
value, and they
little.
have a hard time digesting the bamboo, or very hard time, to the point they have
These-
struggle pooping.
These are creatures that are definitely gone in the next extinction event. They're gone. They're absolutely gone.
Yeah.
Humans, too. I feel like a lot of us aren't meant for survival.
I mean, we survived the last one.
Yeah, did we, or did something else help us survive? I only, question the
I think there's too many.
I only
of
question
us.
if humans are meant for survival because, I mean, right on a package of Red Bull, it says, do not mix with alcohol. And here we go making Jaeger bombs like a bunch of idiots.
There's too much of us. There's too many. Just like insects, there's
Honestly,
too
I
many
think
of
if
us.
I think if there's any humans that have the best chance of survival, it's indigenous tribes that still exist on the planet.
That is true.
I
There,
think
there actually is
they've
an
gotten
it would
along
depend
just
on the
fine.
extinction.
there actually is an island that Joe Rogan talked about himself, like these
The
like,
North
they're-
Sentinelese.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're closed off from the rest of the world, and if you go
I
there, they
imagine.
will kill you on
Mhm.
sight. They don't
Yep.
care who you are.
It's the North Sentinelese. So a funny thing about intelligence, though, I can't remember who it was on Joe Rogan talking about intelligence. It may have been Terrence McKenna's brother, Dennis. When you want to talk about intelligence, are we more intelligent than Amazonian tribes?
Depends on how you scale it.
That's what I mean. Intelligence is a weird thing because they're able to look down on the ground and tell by the way the ants are acting if a storm is coming or not. We can't. We need our technology to tell us
So-
that now.
All right, so judging humans against other humans, that wouldn't really be intelligence. I think that would be more of capacity or wisdom. Because even though,
Russ.
so like those tribes,
Minutes.
oh, we got 4 minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, please.
So those indigenous tribes, you can put any person in with that indigenous tribe and they could learn those skills.
Yeah, but if you put us in those tribes, we're gonna be the idiot.
Yeah, because we don't have the common sense that they do to learn those skills, but we
I still
could.
think they have the common sense to be able to. If you took someone from one of those tribes and introduced them to our world, I think they're still smart enough to learn.
But we would be smart enough to learn their ways too.
I
But
que-
if
I
you
do
put an
question that
indigenous
honestly.
person in front of a computer, they're probably going to go into a seizure.
I mean, I feel like
So-
we would probably do the same thing, trying to learn by monitoring ants on the ground. I don't think we'd be able to learn it
Not
as
actually,
easy
there-
as you
there's a
think.
difference.
We would
because-
need them to teach us, just like they would need us to teach them.
Think about it this
Mhm.
way: technology in general is not good for us. Like
Mhm.
microwaves, computers, they all emit radiation. Them seeing the weather based off of ants moving around is not going to give you a seizure because we see ants all the
Mhm.
time. That's not unusual. What we're doing is unusual to people that don't use it at all.
That's one of my issues with the Bluetooth headphones. As much as I like not having wires dangling on me when I've got my headphones
All
in,
the extra signals.
yeah, that's right next to my brain, and obviously I'm no genius. I'm not a master in that area, so I have no idea what these kind of Bluetooth waves are gonna actually do to my brain. If it is safe, if it isn't, but I do question, like, man, is it safe having that right next to my brain?
Probably.
But
not.
yet my dumb ass gonna keep using them when I need them.
So, before we wrap it up, what would you guys want to shout out or say before we head out here today? And I could probably have you on for a part 2 if you guys want to. I'll be down.
Sure. I definitely want to meet your cousin and everything, and maybe come on his later night show if ever possible. But
Today?
not today.
Oh, not today. A different day?
Got things to do.
Yeah, I gotta work tonight.
Yeah.
And of course, we would love to have him and maybe a couple other people. I looked up your channel. I subscribed. I saw there's a couple different guys. We would love to have them on ours too.
Don't forget to head over to YouTube and check
really
out
love this.
TTLG Podcast.
I love this setup. This is really, really nice. It definitely makes me feel bad about ours, but the amount
Why?
of work that we put into it, I'm still happy about
Why
it.
would you feel bad about ours? We had a much smaller budget.
Yeah.
I think for the budget we had, ours looks amazing.
Yeah, it turned
I
out
love
having
ours.
almost
it's
nothing.
the,
I love ours.
It's the grass is greener concept, you know? I have a problem with that.
Our grass is bluer. We got bluegrass.
Are we Namekians now?
We got bluegrass.
Yup.
Hey, we made it work for what we had, and I love that.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, we still got a lot to do. We're barely even a
Yeah, if
year.
you keep looking at the next person's plate, you're never going to be satisfied with the food on your own.
That's true.
No, because if the next person's plate has a bunch of like corn-filled dung and I got mashed potatoes, I'm gonna be pretty satisfied. But
I
if
don't
they
know, you
got a
ever had
ribeye
corn-filled dung?
steak and I've got dirt cookies,
I don't know.
concept.
I enjoy the
perception.
steak. I enjoy the steak we made.
Yeah.
I like
No,
our
I do
studio.
too. But I'm just saying, I like this studio. I appreciate the setup. It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
This is nice. This
Yeah,
it
it's
is,
nice
you know?
to have something to look forward to having in the future. Like,
I mean, it's just like when Mike and Chris said, you know, ours looked professional, but we were pretty humble about it, you know?
Mhm.
No, I like
Jesse.
it. We put a lot of
sorry
work
to
into
interrupt
ours. No, you're good. You're good.
Jesse, anything you want to shout out?
no, just what was in the beginning.
How about
podcast,
your specific
game
days?
days?
Like the days that you do like Commander or
Oh, I
all that
mean-
stuff?
shout out Mountain House for certain things.
Yeah, I mean that's
Your Facebook page, all of it.
yeah, we just got groups of people playing every day. Commander mainly. Tuesday through Saturday, closed Sunday, Monday, but
And where is your shop located?
the Cedar Street was it 1600 Cedar Street, the Tops Plaza.
Right where the old eye doctor place used to
Yep,
be.
the
right over
old
there by Family
Chen's
Dollar,
Vision.
Right next to Family Dollar.
Right next
Yeah,
to
that's
Family
what I
Dollar.
tell everybody. Right next to Family Dollar.
All
Our
right.
studio's located too, right there. We film every Monday through the
Upload.
Looking Glass.
Upload on Thursdays.
So it's called Through the Looking Glass podcast, but if you search for us on social medias, it's going to be TTLG, just to kind of acronym and shorten up the name.
Yeah,
make it a
we'll
little
have
bit
our
better.
links in the description
Yep.
for the
We'll have
episode.
everything ready for you.
I'll actually take your channel link and actually post it in the description of this video.
Yeah.
For y'all, so people could directly go to your podcast and stuff like that. And
Appreciate
also watch your
that.
podcast
Dope.
too. Because we have actual good supporters on this podcast that watch every single episode, and
Nice.
they would love to come to your podcast.
Yeah,
Cool.
I've noticed a couple regulars on ours.
Yeah.
Always comment.
One of my coworkers watches every one of our episodes. My
I'm
older
about
brother
to
does too.
I'm about to make like 7 different profiles so I can vote against the welcome.
Oh my
You can't get rid of the welcome.
Yeah. it's
He
here to stay.
hates
I don't
my
hate it. I just
he
like
hates
to,
my entry. Every episode I start off by saying, "Welcome, welcome." to
It makes
Through
me
the
feel
Looking
like we just
Glass."
walked into a yogi class. Sometimes I want
like
us
it.
to Alex Jones and be like, "The world's on fire. They're turning the frogs gay."
I don't like it when they put chemicals in the water that turn the frickin' frogs gay.
None of us do.
Anyways, to you people out there, leave a like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment on how we did. Discuss anything with the podcast here on Mindful Exchange, on anything that you found specific that you're interested in, and I'll hit these guys up if there's anything you want me to ask them, and I would gladly do that for you. Thanks for watching this video, and I appreciate y'all, and have a blessed day.